And welcome to the latest edition of No Cap. It's Sol. The boys are back. Abbas, the Panthers, they're flying.
Flying high, mate, and we're not going to stop.
And we go from the best team to the worst team. Tony,
Back
the
to
Broncos.
garbage, man. Can't defend them
Piss
again
poor.
this week.
What's going
Piss
on?
poor. That's probably the best two words we could have described them as. But
Have they hit rock bottom?
they
Legit.
have, yes. 59-0, 48-0 within what, a month? Yeah,
And Seabold's
that's
still coach. I don't know. Hey, talk about coaches.
Come out firing, huh?
There's been a big coaching circus the last couple of weeks. Let's go back to last week. Dean Pay, sacked. Then this week, Cowboys sacking Paul Green.
Yeah.
And then Trent Barrett's going to the Bulldogs. And apparently Bennett's going to the Cowboys. And Green's going to go to the Broncos when they sack Seabold. What the hell is going on?
I mean, it's your team. You could tell us about what's going on with the Broncos.
Look, with this, so they gave Seabold a mission to win 5 out of his next 10 games.
There's been 50 different messages coming out from there. I've got no clue, I'll be honest with you.
Look,
I feel like that's a stupid ultimatum, by the way.
Of course it is.
Like, how are you going to just disregard the rest of the season and just say, oh, if you win you 5 out of the next 10, you're still in for next year?
Look, I guess it's a low point from they're setting low standards for them to win 50% of their games. But at the same time, at least they've got a sense of direction. Like every week they were saying, oh, no, we're going to stick with him. We're going to stick with him. Depends what happens, this and that. But now we know if he doesn't win 5 games, then he's gone.
What if they win? What if he wins 4? Do you reckon they'll still
They'll
sack him?
kick him out. That's it. They've set the precedent that if they don't win 50% of their games, regardless how low that standard is, they have to get rid of him.
But the CEO came out today again and said he's safe. He's going to coach this year, next year, the rest of it. Like, there's too many mixed messages again coming out of there. They're under pressure. That's the problem, right?
You're right. That's the thing, but that's my point about, like, they keep second-guessing themselves about whether he's actually going to stay or not, and he's going to honour his contract. Again, at least they've set that 5 out of 10. And I think this was the first week in his actual press conferences that he spoke about something other than the game plan and execution or this. He actually called him out for being non-resilient. So he's feeling the pressure.
Finally putting his foot down after, 7-8 weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, when are you going to... When do you actually start? I mean, honestly, this bloke, he's come out with the same rhetoric, protecting the players, protecting the staff. But he's not even blaming himself. He's just blaming the inexperienced. But he's the one who did that, remember?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Brisbane. I really don't want to talk about Brisbane.
Look, I'm just going to say that he sounded like a person who wants to be friends with his kind of like a staff member, right? If your staff members are not performing, you don't be friends with them there. You have to hold them responsible for what they're doing, right? And he's not doing. He wasn't doing that for the last what round is it? 10?
Yeah.
The last 10 rounds. So it's good that he's starting to hold the players accountable. Whether the players are accountable is another question. Do you think the players just don't want to play for him at the moment? Because, I mean, 5 out of 10, if it comes down to the last... Let me ask you a question, right? If it comes down to the last game of the round, or the year, sorry, and he's won 4, are the players going to get up for that and try to win it for him, or are they going to be like, let's get rid of this guy?
I don't know. It's a tough one, man. 10 weeks from now to judge that. But judging from what I've seen, it does look like they do want to play for him. No one's come out and said anything against him. Within that first 10 minutes that they did defend before Tigers did score their first try, they were trying. I even saw glimpses of Milford running out of dummy half, even trying to do something more than usual.
I can't believe you're still trying to find something positive about this team.
No, but that's
what I'm saying. So they done well before they scored their first try. The second Tigers scored their first try, Heads down.
But that's
they
kids.
stop trying.
That's under 12 stuff, man.
Yeah, no, you can't defend that.
That's not NRL level.
They've got no mental strength to counteract momentum at all, like we said previously. As soon as momentum goes against them, they just stop. They cut down their line speed. They're not as physical in defense. They're slow to react to everything. And just even execution in defense, like a couple of times the centers and the wingers just completely misread the play and let the winger go free. Concerning, but...
Let's go to... what about the Cowboys? You reckon it was disrespectful the way they treated Paul Green behind the scenes? On the face value, they respected him. They apparently mutually parted ways, but this guy got him their first premiership, World Club Challenge, 2 Auckland Nines, 2 grand finals. He's done a lot for that team and for that club, right?
I found it not too disrespectful, to be honest, the way they did get rid of him, because it sounded like we're not sacking the guy. we just want change.
To be fair, he won that grand final with probably one of the best players to ever play the game, Jonathan Thurston. For me, it's just people try to look a lot into NRL as a respect sport, and I don't see it like that, because I could probably name with one hand the amount of coaches that have been successful for more than a decade. Everyone else has their spells of, coaching their team to a high level, and then dropping off for a few years and not coaching it to a high level, and then maybe, resurrecting that coaching career again and, getting into a few grand finals after that. But with Paul Green, did anyone ever rate him as a coach?
Yeah, I did. I honestly did, because
what would you say his specialty?
He took the Cowboys to a grand final. He coached them without Jonathan Thurston. Do you remember that?
But
that
they
run.
still had a great team with them.
They had an okay team.
Morgan was on. They had Gavin Cooper was playing good.
It's a similar team, I get it, but still, you lose the best player in the world at that time, arguably. That's a big loss for anyone else. Except the Cowboys, they made it. Plus this year, I didn't even get a chance to have Michael Morgan back in the team properly. You know what I mean? They didn't even wait for that. They didn't even see out the year, then make a decision.
So you wouldn't have got rid of him?
Who's better? Who's out there is going to be better right now in this climate?
Yeah, I don't know about during mid-season about getting someone better. They should have just continued out to the end and hope for improvements, because I don't know who's going to come in at this point and help out with their situation. But to the Cowboys club's defense, it's not like they tried to make it sound like they were sacking him for incompetency. It was more like, we just need a change in direction, and they kind of discussed that with the coach, and he did agree on that, I guess.
Something that Tony said a few weeks ago on the podcast that convinced me was to not sack a coach because it's mid-season and who you're going to find better. That's kind of writing off the season. If a coach needs to go and he's not playing the way... I mean, it's going to affect sales at the end of the day. Like, if a new coach comes in, even an interim coach... Look at the coach that the Bulldogs brought this week. I know they lost, but that coach had Bulldogs playing somewhat better, a lot more interesting to watch than they were under Dean Pay. And it's the same squad. It's the same squad. Everyone's trying to give Dean Pay a pass by saying, he's not had a great squad, not had a great squad. I mean, I know they versed the Dragons, but he still did better than what Dean Pay's ever done. It's just he's a victim of his own success, right? Paul Green. He achieved so much with that team. Like, the next coach stuffed, bro, because he won't be able to reach those heights, honestly, unless they're willing to stay with him for a while, because they're pretty much at the start of their development again, right? They're a pretty young team. Like, Morgan's going to go soon. Taumalolo, I mean, he's the only guy I can see out of the veterans that'll be there in 5 years' time, obviously. Well, I think the Cowboys are going to head down that same road they were in before Thurston got them into the finals picture. I mean, everybody knew what Cowboys were. They weren't really a dangerous team. They would have some years on and off, and they'd go through coaches and different coaches after every couple of years. Unless they start making some big signings, and really big signings to keep those Taumalolos and Gavin Cooper there, they're just going to fall back to what I think they were in probably the early 2000s.
Does that include signing Bennett as coach? Because he'll bring the big names going back up to Queensland.
Has that been tossed up though?
Yeah, it's been tossed up, yeah.
How valid is it though?
After Rabbitohs, he still wants to coach, he said.
And is that 2020 after
he can leave. So the thing is, there's been speculation that he wanted to get out of his contract right now, like as in by the end of this year, and let his assistant take over next year instead of doing the extra year with him. Initially, he was signed for 2 years. Then it became a 3-year deal with Bennett. But apparently, if there's opportunity there, he'd be willing to go up. You know what I mean? So that could be a big coup for them. I mean, he'd bring those big names, right?
Who has he bought at Broncos that weren't previously playing for him?
For Bennett?
Rabbitohs that weren't previously, other than James Roberts. Who did he bring?
Latrell Mitchell.
Was that a Bennett thing, or was that just Latrell wanted to play for Redfern? Play for a team that was from Redfern?
Still, he would have had a say in it. He would have talked to him.
I don't know. I feel like Bennett's off, not on his best form over the last 5 years. I think that's why Broncos let him go. I don't think they would have let go.
They're not going any better.
No, they're not. They're not. But
but yeah, we did speak about that, Solomon. They were in trouble before Seabold came in.
Who? Stop. Who?
Brisbane. We're not talking about Brisbane again.
No. But you said they were in trouble.
Yeah.
All right, they lost that first week of the finals. That he was willing to take that squad. Everyone thought they were premiership
But
contender
I think-
at the start of that year, 2019.
Was that not concerning though that they lost by 30 points to a team under them in the
Yeah,
first round
I
of the
think what
finals?
he's saying is there were
That's
signs of things
Bennett.
going wrong.
Like-
But that's a one-off. If you looked at the games just before that, they were beating top contenders.
But I feel like a couple of games that year, they dropped a lot of games un-Brisbane like. I feel like that was the start of the un-Brisbane run.
But they finished fifth. They only came fifth because of points difference as well. Like, it wasn't the worst Brisbane, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's still-
Definitely worse now, but
you know what I mean?
I
But
did see glimpses, yeah.
Anyway, would you take Paul Green at the Broncos if they got rid of Seabold?
Oh, yeah, I think it would.
He knows how to build.
Right now, it's probably anyone's going to be...
You could get anyone. You could coach him.
Anyone,
Why don't you coach him?
anyone could be better than Seabold right now, but yeah, Green, like you said, 2 grand finals, 1-1. I don't see how he wouldn't do a good job there.
And James Hooper lied because the Bulldogs haven't announced Trent Barrett.
It's your fault for listening to him.
All right. He gave me the scoop yesterday and he said in the next 24 hours it was going to be announced. It's been announced by everyone but the Bulldogs. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think it's done, right? I think
Surely.
the fact that Barrett is coming next year, I think that's much better. I think it would not help him or the Bulldogs at all if he'd come this year, because Bulldogs are in such a bad state right now that, you know, if he coached the rest of the season and he didn't start getting results, I'm sure they'd improve under him. But if he still didn't get results, you're just going to get a lot of the fans going against you. I think the fact that if he starts in 2021, he gets a whole preseason ahead of him. He gets to sign some players, or hopefully he gets to sign. I mean, what's the deal with that? Does he speak to them now if he's signed?
That's what I mean. How does it work? And what's this whole thing about, he's not allowed to poach Panthers players? That's rubbish.
Just to clarify, he's
That is
coming in
rubbish.
at the end of the year?
He's
still serving
staying
out with
Penrith this year.
Okay, so George Ellis is staying as
Yeah,
assistant.
for the rest of the year. But like that's how does that work? They signed
Probably part
Kotrick without a coach.
It's probably part
Apparently.
of the contract. As in the Penrith, not poaching Penrith players, is probably part of the contract that he agreed.
That's rubbish, but
Yeah.
you can't poach Penrith players. What if they want to come play for him and they got an opportunity at first grade? I'm talking about the young guys, Charlie Staines,
Yeah,
Matt Burton, those kinds of players.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's probably like a fine line between. I mean, like if there's just players that are not, you know, getting a first grade run, I'm sure he's allowed to go after them. But I don't think he's going to be able to poach players like Brian.
'Cause that
Torres and all
Especially under contract.
But that was the issue, right? So like back in 2015 when Trent Barrett agreed to go to Manly, he wanted to stay with Penrith, and then him and Ivan clashed because he was taking Uppy with him, he was taking some other boys with him, like from other teams. Like he was doing Manly deals while still at Penrith, which was wrong, right? Morally. But then how is he supposed to set up for next year if he's signed? You know what I'm trying to say? It doesn't usually work. Ivan said they're older, they're wiser, they're not going to get involved in that rubbish. But anyway, let's see what happens there. Let's move on to the real deal, the Panthers. Your Panthers. Top of the table.
I said it before, I'm going to say it again.
Big wins over the Roosters and Storm. Something that Para hasn't done. All right? Because you're a Para lover. All right? We all know
You
that.
just make me sound like I'm a paralover.
Listen, bro. These are facts.
I'm
facts.
still
Leading the comp at the
Honestly,
halfway point.
I've never seen a time where Parramatta does something right and Tony does not message us on WhatsApp saying, "See, I told you." But look,
They're the real deal, yes?
it's.
Well, I'm asking you.
No. Honestly, are they playing well? Yes. But go back a month ago, we thought Roosters were indestructible. They've lost twice since the last time we spoke, and it's all about consistency. I mean, even Roosters are not consistent right now. You got teams like Roosters not consistent. So what makes you think that Penrith, even though they have been consistent right now, what makes you think they can be consistent? If they can be consistent for the rest of the year, if they stay first at the end of the year, till the end of the year, they are favourites.
I think they've got stronger depth than a lot of teams. I think I can rely on their depth to come in and
in certain areas,
put in a
but
performance. Yeah.
fullback. I mean,
That's the only question. Yeah, that is the only
I
question for
I
them.
still don't know why Crichton isn't at fullback right now. I mean,
Yep.
Aikens.
He's giving him one more opportunity against. We'll talk about the Tigers game later on. But Penrith, they're the real deal, yes?
What do you mean by real deal, though?
You did a question about Parramatta.
He's doing
but
well. He's doing
What?
well.
What do you mean by real deal, though?
are they
let's
premiership
clarify.
contenders? Can they win the competition?
Yeah, them along with another 3 or 4 teams. Yes,
Like?
I agree. Roosters, Melbourne, Parramatta. Knights are slowly.
Do you not
hovering
find
into
what
that-
happened to
into that
Parramatta on the
circle.
weekend concerning? Losing to an understrength Manly team. They had 3 of their spine missing.
Well,
But
Parramatta had Mitchell Moses
you
missing,
don't-
Madison missing.
Madison and Ferguson. They're three
Whoa,
big losses.
stop. That's a forward and a winger. Who cares? I'm talking about the spine.
Nah, Madison
Is the
good.
spine not the
Come
most
on.
important part of the team?
It is, but to
Okay.
Eels,
To be honest, I don't think.
Madison's in their top three.
They were missing
players.
Adam Fanua Blake. He's the best forward.
To be honest, I don't think Parramatta's main thing is their spine. I think their forwards is what wins the most. Because Junior Polo is probably the best player at Parramatta right
He
now.
played.
He is ridiculous. The amount of offloads, you cannot wrap him up. And a lot of their success comes off those offloads. That's how they get those quick play the balls, getting teams on the back foot. And a lot of Parramatta, if you had told me, rewind the week, if you had told me Parramatta versus Manly, Manly full strength, I would have said Manly would beat them just because Manly had the forward pack. But because Manly didn't have their spine, I didn't give them a chance. And honestly, even though they didn't have their spine, I think Manly's forward pack dominated Parramatta.
Yeah, but
that's the reason
But
why.
it's the same Manly team. They got smashed the week before by St. George. They got smashed the week before that by Sharks, I think. And they came up against the competition leaders who were missing, I guess, key players, but they already had lost Moses for how many weeks now? You know what I mean? So
Look,
surely they could have beaten them.
I'd be more concerned if they were at their best and they lost to Manly, but they clearly weren't.
They did lose it. They did.
They were at their best.
Yeah, they did. They lost. The NRL came out, remember? They said it wasn't a full pass, remember? What are you talking about?
We're talking about this week.
Oh,
I'm talking about the other game they played. You're
I'm
talking
talking
about when
about-
they're under full strength.
No, I don't live in the past, but
Yeah, so you agree Parramatta's in trouble.
no, I don't. They'd be in trouble if they tried their best and they lost, but they were off completely like that. The first couple tries they let in was very uncharacteristic of the Eels. Like the way they defended, just let.
So no credit to Manly there.
No, Manly turned up to play and they
That's
won
it.
the
So
game.
they put them off.
They out-enthused Parramatta.
That's
But I feel
that's
like
what I'm trying to say.
the injuries that Parramatta had, away game, I'm not making up excuses. It's just one of those away games that a team has, a one-off,
but it's not a one-off.
that nothing goes.
I mean,
nothing would
let's
go
be
their way.
honest. If Knights were 20% better 2 weeks ago, they would have beat Parramatta. Knights and Parramatta, that was probably the worst game of football I've seen in my life.
No,
The
no.
Knights
they
Parramatta.
played
I
poor.
think
Para played poor there.
I
You're going to
think-
give credit
No,
Para
Knights
there.
played poor too.
Not in attack, yeah.
Knights,
No,
they both
I wouldn't
played
give credit to Parra in attack. I think in defence they just put Newcastle off. I think if it was any other team besides Melbourne or Roosters, I think Knights would have came triumphant over them. But credit to Parra for that defence.
But say what say what I'm trying to say. Parramatta, when they lose a few players, it's trouble stations.
It
yeah?
is, yeah.
But other teams like Manly, like a Penrith, like a
Manly's
Roosters,
trouble
like a
station.
Storm, but they could lose players, and they got players ready to go. For me, they're better equipped. I feel like they're better equipped if there's trouble there. They can still manage a win. They can somehow get coached to a win because of who they got up the top.
I think the only team this year that has proven that with injuries they can still get results is Roosters and Penrith at the moment. They're the ones that have been
Manly.
hit with.
Manly as well.
I mean, they can get one every 4 weeks.
But Manly,
But you gotta
we
remember-
saw Manly last year. I'm saying that's another.
Yeah,
last year, yeah.
That's the power of the coach. Des is bringing out the best in these players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're capable. I just don't see Parramatta. So that's why I'm saying it's a concern because
Oh, it is a concern.
in
for Parra.
seriousness, if
develop,
Parramatta,
if they develop a lot of injuries, I don't know if they can, how far they can actually go.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
I don't know. Just watching them, it feels like they're a heavyweight team. It feels like they're.
Well, they get everyone
it
back.
feel-
They're going to
it
get
doesn't
everyone
feel like
back,
they're the
right?
underdog anymore. That's the difference between this year and last year. It just doesn't
I-
feel like
I get it.
they're the underdog.
But they're going to get everyone back this week. Maybe underdone. I don't know against the Tigers side. We're going to talk about it later on.
It's going to be a good match.
Great match, and the man of the moment in that match, let's be fair, is Mr. Harry Grant, top of the Dally M board.
I still don't even know what it looks like. You know?
He could be the best player in the game right now. He could be playing Origin at the end of the year. He's had a great start to the season. Surely, he's going to give him credit now.
If
Surely.
you're going to drop Harry Grant as the best player in the game, I'm going to
Possibly,
this
I said.
conversation.
Hey, listen, he's top of the table, man.
How many points clear
So
is
why
he?
didn't you bring this topic up when Gotha was leading the Dally?
I don't believe in Gutho. So I told you he'd drop off. Told you. I made a bold prediction, remember? I said he wouldn't win it.
Would you put him as Queensland hooker?
I'm not a Queenslander, would you?
I'd go with Ben Hunt. He's been killing a hooker, to be honest.
No, but I'm saying, let's be realistic. I know he's not the best player in the game. He's had a great start. He's been a big influence for the Tigers,
Well,
right?
you could argue he's the most informed player right now.
Yeah, but if he was in this form again, to go back to, if he's in this form later on in the year, they make the finals, maybe get out first week, surely you'd consider him for Origin.
Well, who's halfback for Origin? Who's halfback and 5'8" for
In Queensland, Munster, Cherry Evans.
Yeah. So, if I was Kevin Walters, I'd probably put Ben Hunt as hooker just in case you get an injury. You got a halfback there too. Probably have Harry Grant on the bench.
I say I'd flip it. I think Ben Hunt could go to the bench, and he could cover anything, right? He could cover Harry. Probably he'd get tired and jump in there. Or if there was an injury, like you said, he'd be perfect bench player, perfect utility player, right?
At the very least, he's in the squad, I guess.
It's crazy. 10 games in.
21-man squad.
10 games in, he's doing that.
Yeah.
But there's not much to pick from other than
Reid Marnie. Oh, that's the matchup. Reid Marnie versus what do you call it? Harry Grant. I don't even know his name anymore.
First Ben Hunt.
HG.
HG. So yes, you'd consider him for Origin?
100%. He's already in talks. I'm sure he'll be making the squad at the very least.
All right, look, we're going to start the preview now, all right? But we're going to go through the games, and then each team, I'm going to ask for a grade, all right?
Okay.
For the season, you mean?
It's for the halfway point of the season.
Is this like a A, B, C?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. First game, it's going to be match of the round for me. I will say, we'll do it off the bat. Eels Tigers Thursday night. It's a big game for both teams.
Probably going to be more gritty.
Yeah, especially when Madison apparently said to Maguire, "You'll never win a grand final." So that's pretty poor from him. Apparently he didn't say it, but who knows? I'm going to give you Parramatta. All right, give me a grade for them so far.
A.
Not an A plus.
A, no. A.
Okay. Any reason?
I've got high standards, you know. I don't know if I'm going to rate any team at A plus at this point.
No, you can't rate. I don't think we can rate anyone A plus.
Anything particular?
I just feel like they're not the underdogs anymore compared to last year. One off game on the weekend, couple injuries, night out in Manly, wet weather, poor defense. Arthur's got high standards as well. I think he'll set them straight for this week, and I'm expecting 13 plus over the Tigers. Thoughts?
13 plus.
13 plus at Bankwest, yes.
Bold prediction.
Okay, fair enough. Tigers, great for them.
I probably got a B minus.
Yeah.
They're a team that, to be honest, COVID really just stuffed the whole season up in regards to how we thought a team was going to start the year, because I can't remember how we thought they were going to start the year. But after COVID, we kind of expected Tigers to play a bit more exciting, and they didn't do much for the first month after COVID, and then it wasn't until recently. I think it was a game before the Penrith game where they started to,
I think it was the Bulldogs. Yeah,
they started to look a bit more, resilient. It wasn't a team that you could just, over the years, Tigers were a team that they'd show up one out of every 6 games, and that one game they'd put a good effort in. I think now they're much more resilient, and they're causing a lot more trouble for a lot of teams.
Credit to Maguire as well for calling them out on
He
that.
kicked them up the backside. He's the one.
We're not that team anymore. That's the underdog team. There's no excuses for that.
The
He
usual.
wants to be a heavyweight team.
So he mixes it up. He doesn't care. He had Reynolds and Brooks, sacked them, and he put Marshall and Walters back in.
Yeah.
He's still getting a strong reaction. Like, everyone wants to play for him. What are you laughing for? You like Walters?
Huh?
On your son. Cowboys.
Did you end up finding the video footage of it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. What did he say?
He tried to be professional, guys. Walters, look at him go. Friday night 6. Cowboys.
Wait, so we're going to tip who we're going to think we're going to
Oh,
win?
yeah. He said 13 plus. Eels.
I'm not going to give you a winner. I'm just going to say Golden Point. Actually, you know what? Golden Point, I think Gutho to slot the field goal.
Good old Gutho.
Leilua's not back, is he, Joey?
Nah. Yeah, I'm going to go Para just. I don't think they'll smash him. I think you're hoping for a big reaction. You're not
They'll
going to
definitely
get it.
turn that around, though, at the very least.
I don't know. Look, Cowboys, Eagles, Friday night, 6 p.m. Cowboys, I'll give them a D. I think everyone thought they'd make the 8. They'd be a bit more exciting. They've been hampered by injuries. But the season, I don't know. I just feel like they're still missing. They still look a bit old. The younger players now are showing up a bit.
Yeah.
But it's a long way back for them. I think, they don't really have much hope there for the rest of the season.
I agree with your rating. I think they'll actually win on Friday against Manly, because they did have a good game last week. They almost toppled Penrith.
And it's at home.
It's at home also. Expecting them to, especially with Manly's depth again. I know they played good last week, but how week in, week out, how long can they actually maintain that for?
Adam Fanua,
That's the question.
Adam Fanua Blake is back.
Is he going, though? But I thought
No,
he
he's
take the
cleared.
shot?
He's cleared.
So he took it?
He'll be there. I don't know if he took it, but he's cleared. Sea Eagles, you get the grade. What do you give him so far?
B-, just because the injuries they have, the little depth they have, they're still doing pretty decent, I guess. Could have beat Eels twice this year as well. So, B- for me.
I think Manly will win, by the way.
Sorry, Manly. Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Broncos Storm 755. Broncos. Yeah.
We have to. It's going to be...
Go, man, go. F?
I'm going to go with Brisbane for this one to win the game. No, I'm kidding.
Even the cameraman's laughing.
We're going to tell it to take out that
the
mic.
grade, I'm going to have to give him an F, 100%, just based on potential. The juniors that they raise should be similar to what Penrith's doing right now. They should be at Penrith's level. Probably even better with the money, the success they do have in general. So I would give them an F. Like I said before, 59-0, 48-0, all these thrashings, lost to Titans by 18 points at their own home ground.
I'd have to agree. F.
Can't defend.
Yeah.
Just based on potential. This week, in terms of the game, I'm expecting an improvement in resilience.
40-0.
40.
Storm.
Yeah. I'm going to go something like 36-10. They'll try hard, but Melbourne will be too classy.
Is this because you're a fan, or do you think they want to play for Seabolt? Like I said, because I don't expect them to be resilient. If they, the way that they're playing, like I saw the GOAT talk after the game, Payne Haas. And,
the GOAT.
And
legend.
It's
feel
weird.
bad for him.
It's weird. I feel bad for him, but the way he was talking, it didn't sound like they just got pumped. It sounded like...
Sounds like they don't care.
It sounds like...
It just doesn't impact them as much mentally.
It doesn't. It's like...
They're numb to it. They're a bit numb to it now.
But it's not just the coach's job that's on the line. It's their job on the line too. Like he's making changes.
Yeah, but it is easier to sack a coach than 20 players.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't even sack a player. If a player's got a 4-year deal, have you ever heard somebody let somebody go on without it being on mutual terms?
It's rare. It can happen, but it's very... Like, you're not going to do it to 20 players. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Storm, grade.
B+. I expected more from them, to be honest. They have showed... I mean, they are still contenders, 100%, but there's been performances throughout the year that you're just like, that's unstorm-like. If they had won those games, I would have given them an A-, because even the way that they're playing... Other than those terrible teams like the Titans and all that, they are not really as clinical as they have been in the last years. And I guess it's because of the players that they've lost over the last couple of years. It's been hard for them. But I'll probably give them a B+, but I think they're going to win 30+ against Broncos at least.
Storm. Easily. 13+.
Would you guys agree on the B+ though?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Look.
Agreed. I'd probably even consider an A because... Every year,
they did miss Munster
critics
a bit.
do seem to write them off, and they still perform.
Well, we always say that, right? You always look for something.
You
always look for something for them not to make it. You know they're going to make it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'll go by my expectation. My expectation every year is Melbourne are going to be there. So I always think they're gonna somehow march their way into the finals.
Oh yeah, just quickly, they finally changed it up. Anthony Milford's at the back, so congratulations. They finally sacked him from 5'8". They put Tom Dearden. Why would you put Tom Dearden in now? The young kid, he's going to play bad and then Seabolt's like, say he's not good. So dumb.
It's a weird combination to have
We'll
Croft
talk about
and Dearden. But
talk about it next
we'll
week.
talk about it next year.
Next year. Warriors Roosters Saturday 3 p.m. Warriors, my grade for them, D+, honestly. I know it's tough for them to come out here with no family and sacrifice a lot to get the competition going. But surely that was something that would bring this team together instead of pull them apart. Half the team wants to go home now. Everyone kind of gave up on the season, especially when Stephen Kearney got sacked. I really expected more because the travel was always an issue, right? So I'm like...
This year they didn't have to go overseas every week.
They didn't have that issue.
They had a set home ground in the Central Coast.
And I expected a bit more from them.
What'd you give them?
D+.
Yeah, probably agree with that.
I don't know about the travel aspect because I know travel is a big issue, right? It does stuff a lot of teams up, but you got to remember, imagine not seeing your family for a long period of time. I mean, for anyone that's ever gone on work trips, bro, it is so bad being away from just the normal everyday life that you live. You know, when you're away doing something from work, you don't have your car there. You don't have your daily routines that you always do. You're kind of living in a very alien kind of space. You know, you're in a hotel. You're not really doing the same thing. So I didn't expect them to be better. I expected them to obviously lose their morale because they're not with their family, and it's just the troublesome of being in a different place that you normally would be living every single day, which is what players in Sydney and in Brisbane and and Melbourne have the luxury, or maybe not Melbourne, but Brisbane and Sydney have the luxury of doing, is they have the luxury of going back home, spending time with their family, and you see it every time. Players play their best when their personal life is going really well.
The only thing I get from that I'd agree with is that the NRL promised that their families could come and they couldn't get that done. So that's what maybe put them off a bit as well. Had they had settled that earlier on, maybe you'd see different performances like you said.
But what did we expect from the Warriors this year though?
Not much. But they've been smashed a couple of times this year. Pretty ridiculously. By the way, who's the 4 players that are going back? Have they announced that? That are
Fusatua, Momalo. No, they're all named here. They're all named.
That's the thing. That's what if they lose the 2 wingers, they are done.
Yeah.
They're like 2 of their best
I know
players.
Fusatua wants to go back, but 100%. Roosters, grade?
B.
B.
I don't know how you got B.
What the? Go. Explain.
Based on their potential, man.
No, but
they've had some like that loss to the Raiders was concerning on the weekend.
Yeah, but that's just 1 week. We're talking about the whole half year.
Gone off one game.
I have such high expectations of the Roosters. Like we get glimpses of how good they are. There was like that 3-game run where I said they're not going to lose a game for the rest of the year.
You're burning because your bold prediction didn't come true.
And just
there you go.
The last 3 weeks has been it's very un-Rooster-like. Even Trent Robertson caught him out for conceding 3+ tries every.
They lost Radley. They lost their backup lock as well. They lost Verrills. They lost a lot of players.
Yeah, let's go B+.
This guy's going up a bit, but they're an A+, bro.
No, not A+.
An A at least.
You got to consider the.
But this is yours, bro. Whatever. This is yours.
Yeah, B+.
For the game, quick. Warriors or Roosters? Roosters. Yeah, Roosters. Surely. Saturday night, 5:30 p.m. Far out. Sharks, Dragons. Sharks. Give me a grade.
Sharkies.
I'll
give them a C. I don't know if I expected anything from them this year, but if you look at their lineup with Moylan, they did have some. Moylan was injured, but you just expected more from them as a team. You know, they have good forwards. They bought Sean Johnson a couple of years ago. They bought Matt Moylan a couple of years ago. And it's just, it's something that you'd expect them to mould together as the years went on. With for example, Sean Johnson, right? We're talking about him in regards to his game against, who they versed last week, the Warriors?
Yeah.
He turns up against the teams that are just playing terribly, right? And then when he comes up against a team like, a couple of weeks ago, he played Penrith, nowhere to be seen.
Disappeared, yeah.
So and I feel like that says a lot about the whole Cronulla squad. They're showing up against teams like the Dragons, the Warriors, the Bulldogs, but when it comes up, and even against the Bulldogs, it was a tight game, right? But when it comes up to the teams that are showing, they're playing much better throughout the year, it's they are just really, really subpar at that level. So what did I say? C? I'm going to stick with C.
Yeah, I agree with that. C.
Yeah, around that pass mark for me.
Dragons.
C-. They've been very poor for the first half of the season, but the second half, I've been pretty impressed by them. I think Dufty's really starting to come into his own. So is Lomax as well. I think he's a future Origin player. Great talent.
You just think he's missing his hot.
Anyways.
Shout out to Jess.
We've also got Ben Hunt killing a hooker too.
And
also the halfback we doubted. Mr. Adam Clune.
I still don't rate him.
Okay.
No, but
He's one of those guys
Shane
you
Flanagan.
never rate, yeah.
Bro, you hated him. He's got
I
talking.
changed my mind on him. He's playing good.
No, but Shane Flanagan's taken more of the coaching I've heard. Like he's working more in the attack as well, so that you can see the difference.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
they're keeping McGregor just so they can hire him as sack
Flanagan
McGregor.
for next year.
Yeah,
Is he back on the?
apparently he might
is he
be
back in
he
that-
might be allowed next year. So,
Okay.
so I think that's what they're waiting
I
for.
thought the plan was for him to go back to Cronulla though. Is he not allowed to go back to Cronulla?
I think the fact that the son left, I don't think he wants to go back.
That's correct.
Sharks Dragons is game. It's a tough game to pick.
I'm gonna go Dragons.
I just said Sharks perform against the shitter team, so
Sharks.
I'm going to say close one, but I'll say Sharks. Maybe Sean Johnson to hit a field goal.
I think draw. I think a draw.
Done.
Gone to 90 minutes, huh?
Saturday night, 7:30. Raiders, Rabbitohs. Raiders. I'm going to be minus so far. They were honestly going to be a C minus before the
They
Roosters game.
saved themselves this week.
That Roosters game changed my mind. I wrote them
How
off.
about how he got that tip lucky because he forgot the tip?
No, but I think they're the problem is those players might not come back, like the Hodgsons, Simonson, Horsburgh. They're not going to come back.
They've got Bateman coming back though. I guess it
Bateman's
makes
been
up for
named. Yeah,
at
he's been
least
named in the
two
reserve.
of those
So
players. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. What is it? B minus you went with?
B minus.
B
Yeah,
minus,
I still
yeah.
think they're a chance.
Repart?
Rabbitohs.
C. Right in there. Haven't been too impressive. Disappointing at times. Yeah, they'd be lucky to get a pass, I guess.
Yeah, it's a pass. I
What do
think,
you reckon?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
we
They show glimpses.
And they're still going to need time for Latrell to fully find his own there at fullback.
Mhm.
It's still a work in progress. But they've got the super coach. They've got all these players, but just not at the level they need to be right now.
Raiders, Rabbitohs is game.
Canberra.
Canberra.
It's in Canberra, is it?
It's in Canberra. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
okay.
got Canberra as well. Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Knights, Bulldogs. Knights. Give me a grade for them.
I'll give them a B, leaning towards a B plus.
Knights fan.
Yeah, look, they got really, really lucky. I think first or second week after the COVID, Penrith should have slapped them out of the park. Penrith fell asleep in the second half, and they got a lucky draw out of it. But yeah, no, look, other than the last 3 weeks, Knights have been playing really, really good football. They played terribly against Parramatta. I don't care what Tony says. Parramatta's defense.
Regardless of their
You've
defense.
got to give credit to Paris defense for putting them off.
Yeah, but what did they like in that game?
And
All I saw
I
was
disagree. I don't think Penrith played as bad as you made it out to be against Newcastle. Again, I think
no, they played bad in the second half.
That good.
Second half they played bad. I mean, think about it. They had Connor
There's no doubt
Watson.
Penrith should have won that. But
yeah.
credit to Newcastle for holding them out, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I said Penrith played. Had a bad second half. If they played a good second half, Newcastle wouldn't have won.
Fair
But
enough.
I will say
Wait, what's your rating? Have you?
I gave them a B to a B plus around there. I will say that when Parramatta and Newcastle played, Mitchell Pearce got caught dummying and going nowhere a few times, and their main play for some odd reason was just short ball to Guerra, short ball to Fitzgibbon. And that's all they threw at Parramatta every single time. And the times that they did throw something else at them, they just poorly executed it. And I didn't feel like it was a pressure on Parramatta because I think Parramatta played bad too. It was a really... The thing that decided that game was a quick tap from Gutho. Quick tap from Gutho, and he gave it to Siva. And that's what decided the game. But yeah, I'll give him a B plus.
I think the Knights defensively have been really good. That's going to hold them in good stead. But attack,
Ponga has been asleep for the last.
Last week. They got to get
Other
a
than last week.
They can improve, but they'll improve in attack, right?
No, I think Pong is killing it this year.
Wait. Ponga over the last 3 weeks, I feel
I think he's been.
Last week he was okay. He was good. Other than that, 3 weeks ago, what did he do?
Can I just double check the past 3 weeks? But from what I've seen, I feel like he's been a lot more busier than.
I think defensively he's good. Defensively, he's been doing a lot of work.
Yeah. Especially, like we said last week, his positioning within that last 5 minutes to shut the Rabbitohs kicks down. I guess that proved the difference in the end. And he's getting more busy. That was my main issue with Ponga. He seems to zone out of games when, I guess the forwards aren't making the hard yards for him. But he's turned the corner this year, I guess.
I feel like he just hasn't been taking on that line and throwing that cutout ball that we know him for.
If there's any game to get your confidence back, it's against the Bulldogs. And is anyone going to tip the Bulldogs? Because I'm not.
No.
Rubbish.
They'll try hard again, but they won't.
I don't know. I mean,
They weren't that bad last week,
It's
so
at
No.
Newcastle, 2 p.m, sunny day. Like,
I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
Sky, bro.
I like it.
Last game of the round, Titans, Panthers. Titans, grade. Queenslander.
I'm gonna go E. Oh, he's E.
Yeah, there's an E, yeah.
Is
Why
there
not?
an E?
There's an E. I didn't
I don't
really...
think there
saying
is.
no
I
one
think it's
mentioned
D
E's.
and then it's F.
Nah, just give him an E. Go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go E.
Can we fact check that? I don't think there's E's. E's for excellent.
No, I think at our school they skipped F. 'Cause it was too
That's what
harsh
happens
to
when
give
you
an
have
F, so they're like, I
Australians
just give
trying
an
to
E.
go to the American grade system.
Yeah, but E for me, didn't expect
That's a
much
bit
from-
harsh,
from
honestly.
the Gold Coast.
It's a bit harsh for
Titans?
Gold Coast. They're
You
shit.
reckon?
Like, they're not really good. But
That's
like,
why I didn't give them.
but they
an
try
F.
hard, you know?
Yeah.
Panthers, I'll leave it with you. Grade them.
I just want to clarify something.
Can I just
Who
highlight
did you-
Titans?
who did-
Titans $7, Bulldogs $6, Brisbane $8, and Warriors are $10.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Get on that multi.
Imagine that.
I just want to clarify something, right? You gave Parramatta an A, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I give Parramatta A minus, and I give Penrith an A.
But that wasn't your grade to do. He gave him an A.
No, I know
You're
that.
gonna give
I
him
know
an
that.
A.
But if I give an A and he gave an A, I feel like it's injustice.
So give him an A plus.
No, I can't give him an A
Why?
because they
They're on top of the table.
They lost against Parramatta and they showed a bad half against Knights. A
Cowboys
plus,
too. They almost got beaten by the Cowboys.
But
And
we won.
Cowboys were depleted.
but we won.
They were in Penrith.
But you see, this is the thing: you give Parramatta credit for winning when they don't look like a good team. You got to give other teams.
Against a weak opposition like Cowboys, though, I guess it's a different story.
They lost against Manly.
In Manly, depleted Parramatta outfit, Penrith in Penrith.
For me,
Different sides. I don't know. Two sides to
look. At the end of the day,
Look, just to clarify,
Penrith
I'm always a fan of the 27th district.
Yeah, all right.
Um,
It doesn't sound like it, but
You've never been there in your life.
he goes there. He goes to get Starbucks.
A big loss.
Listen,
big
can I-
big outs. I just want to go big outs. Uppy and Dylan Edwards. Gold Coast
That's-
have a chance.
no. Oh no.
It's at Gold Coast.
Nah, just too inconsistent. They don't. They just.
We
They
got-
don't know.
Kick him out.
No one gives them a chance.
No, look.
Nah.
No.
If you're gonna talk about what we think is going to happen, Penrith are winning every day of the week. But it's not unheard of for a team not to rock up and Titans for them to rock up and have a good game. I mean, we saw that this week with Canberra and
Manly.
Roosters. And
Manly against Parra.
game
I
too,
think
yeah.
Gold Coast can win. I think at home
There's always a chance.
there's a possibility.
There's always like teams show up and they have they just have a bad game and then the other team has a good game. There's always a possibility, but who should win? Penrith.
All right, bold predictions. I don't know.
He loves this.
You
part.
got anything
He
for us,
loves
Sebastian, this week?
Any bold predictions?
Yeah.
Well, my bold prediction has to be Bulldogs to beat Knights since I tipped them.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go.
Bold prediction for this week.
Can't think of one to be honest.
He's the one that brought the topic up. He's like, bold predictions? Can't think of one.
Para 13 plus. That was my bold prediction. I mentioned it before.
I think that I'm just gonna do a future prediction. I think the Tigers will make the 8.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean, it's pretty.
Not really that bold, but that's fair.
Oh, sure.
Oh, they haven't made the A in the past.
Yeah, they haven't made it in a long
They came
time.
ninth every year. I guess it's.
They
time
could.
for
I think they can make the 8. Anyway, thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Abbas,
Cheers, bud.
Tony.
Cheers, mate.
See you next week.